This is my morning cup of coffee, and specifically I brewed this in an espresso method. You know, you pressurized water through and you drink it, and that's neither here nor there, but I really take a lot of care on my morning cup of joe, whether it's an espresso, an americano, but I really like the process. This is my EDC tray. This is normally where all my EDC gear lives every day, and I kind of come visit this area. It normally stores my keys and my wallet, and this one just happens to be a Marine X version of said tray. Keep your eyes out for this coming out soon. How are these two things connected? Well, this is the Gerber Assert, one of Gerber's newest EDC knives, and I have thoughts about this knife, and I'm starting to wonder, why the hell did I even buy this thing? But before I jump into the basics of why I bought the Gerber Assert, let's rewind a little bit. Like, why do you have a pocket knife? Now, if you're watching this channel, it's probably because you want to see what's the latest and greatest in EDC or whatever you watch the content for. But if you're looking around for a pocket knife, you're probably looking for it for some very mundane, normal tasks. Cutting of boxes, whether they are brand new, waiting to be open Amazon boxes, or you got to break down cardboard later on. Maybe you're, cutting off tags off of clothes, cutting off zip ties, taking care of tangles in your vacuum cleaner by cutting the shag out of the vacuum cleaner rug, cutting tape out of stuff, scraping. There's all sorts of stuff that we do with our pocket knives. Literally taking two pieces of frozen meat apart. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but these are real life things. We do this type of stuff with our pocket knives. I'm always looking for something that has a utilitarian type of functionality to it. That brings me back to Gerber. Myself and Gerber have had a long relationship. They've never sent me anything. So when I say relationship, I mean just the items that I purchased over the years. I own several of the Gerber MP600 multi-tools. Gerber arguably makes some of the god tier multi-tools similar to Leatherman, but I've noticed that progressively I've always kind of stayed away from their pocket knives. Up until this point, I've literally only owned one pocket knife by Gerber, and this was issued to me in the Marine Corps, which is this specific knife I think is illegal in tons of different states. This is the Gerber Fast Tanto Auto, which is a fully automatic knife, and it does have partial serration with a it's difficult to sharpen, but it's a very durable, heavy duty knife made in America, S30V. But when Gerber made this knife, they were aiming to win government contracts. They put their all into this. You can tell. It's well made. It's definitely made to be banged on with logs. It's something that I've had and enjoyed for years, but I've kind of been hit and miss when it comes to their pocket knives. I guess because they're kind of all over the place. Some are made in China, some are made in the States, some are premium steel, some aren't, which I don't necessarily care about, but I just want to know that if I buy something from you, that the consistency will be there. If I get a Chinese made Gerber, is it going to be as good as this American built tank that I've had for over a decade? Well, kind of like this cup of coffee, sometimes it's hit and miss, but I've pretty much got this dialed in. Almost every day, if I make myself a cup of espresso or coffee, I know what to expect. Gerber, I don't know what to expect from your knives. So I guess in theory, we can talk about the boring specifications. Made of S30V steel. This is a plain edge coming at 2.98 in length. And this thing has an adjustable thumb stud, meaning it's like a telescoping thumb stud. If you want to move this up or down, makes one hand opening very, very easy. Has a deep carry pocket clip, a decent lanyard hole, honeycomb interior. Listen, all sorts of specs. You can read that type of stuff on the website. What I thought I was going to love about it is it's only 1.87 ounces. It's barely any more weight than the Benchmade Bugout. Maybe we finally have a Benchmade Bugout killer, with a adjustable thumb stud, just in case you don't like exactly where the thumb stud rides for the bug out, or if you want to be able to, you know, flick this thing with a different finger. It makes for easy one-hand opening. It does have a pivot style lock. I mean, it's just so much to like about this thing, at least on paper. And then you get it in your hands, and I think that's kind of where it almost begins to fall apart. Coming in at $175, this is a hard pill to swallow, thinking about how much this thing costs versus other type of knives you can get on the market, and then kind of their quality control. I mean, from the factory, the pivot is so firm. Now, maybe I can do some type of adjustments, but I don't know how many times I have false deployments with this thing. I can never do a one-hand drop. Let me show you the bug out compared to this. All right, two different bug outs here. One in aluminum, one in just the standard bug out that came exactly from the factory floor. Just to kind of have a baseline, this is the Assert doing a false opening, but yeah, there we go. And you try to use the pivot lock to allow for it to come down. With the bug out, I can almost always bring it down with a flick of the wrist. The Gerber, yeah, not so much. Half the time, I miss the opening, and then I gotta really whip it down if I want to close it. I'm not a fan of that. Take a look at the aluminum version of this thing as well. This has an even smoother action, but I don't want to have to put all my efforts in the world just to get some type of action that I think would be tolerable. It's about the same size as the bug out. It does have some of the same feelings as the bug out. The bug out blade's a little bit longer. At $175, I don't know. I got it for a military discount, so I think I spent like $112 on it or something like that. When it comes to everyday tasks, this knife, it kind of leaves a lot out on the field. I feel like it's not giving everything that it's got. You know, Rudy, he gave everything he got every time he hit the gridiron. The Karate Kid, you know, after he got his face smashed in a couple of times, he started giving everything and went all out. Rush Hour 2, did you not see Jackie Chan doing almost all of his own stunts? This knife is trying to do all of its own stunts, but more often than not, I'm substituting in a standby knife to get jobs done that should be easily knocked out. Opening up Amazon boxes brand new from the doorstep of my house. Sometimes this thing gets laughed at. Breaking down those same cardboard boxes, whether sometimes I have to literally slice the tape in or the cardboard itself, this thing gets laughed at sometimes. Cutting zip ties or things off of brand new pieces of clothing, or prying, you know, trying to pry apart two items, which you really shouldn't be doing with a pocket knife, but I do it anyway. This thing doesn't always get the job done. One hand opening, you saw that earlier with the flip test when it comes to the Benchmade bug out. This thing fails. I'm going to give you some type of anecdotal statistic here. Like 60% of the time, it works 100% of the time. And I will say this, although we laugh at the bug outs or any other Benchmade, or we laugh at the Spydercos, or we look at TRMs, we look at Civivi and WE knives, most of the time, those knives, when they're in my pocket, they do not fail, especially not at deployment. Okay, so maybe redeployment, you're trying to put it back, give it a little bit of time to get its rest. Yeah, I get it. Every knife has a different mechanism. What's a liner lock, what's a frame lock, you know, sometimes a slip joint, whatever. So maybe it's not as easy to redeploy, but to deploy the knife, this should not be an issue. Just that works for you, but does it work every time? No, it doesn't. And this is not my first rodeo. This is not the first time I've had to open a knife. And I don't think that this should be a complete headache every time I want to do it. But, you know, there are some good things about this. First off, the scales feel great. It is customizable. You can customize it right from the website. I don't know how much more it costs to get it customized. I wanted to get a nice, plain look at it. Very, I guess, sustainable materials when it comes to the unboxing experience. If that is something that you like, it is made in America. It does have S30V steel on it. I don't think this is going to be too incredibly hard to sharpen because of this actual shape of the blade. I'm going to use a Work Pro sharpener on it, and I don't imagine I'm going to have a hard time when it is time to get this. You can get this Of course, I got the coated finish. You can get this in a stone wash, and I think they make a satin. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. So there's a lot of different things. I think the texture on this feels way better than the texture on the Bugout. It is lightweight. It is very easy to get in and out of your pocket. Then yeah, maybe this would be a good buy for you. Maybe you should just go for it, especially if it does have some things that are attractive to you. If you want to get the different finish for it, because it is attractive if you get any of the finishes other than this one and customize it. It might be something that you like. That is literally me trying to justify this pricing. Listen, the retail price that Gerber wants to sell this thing at is $175. Yeah, it was just recently on sale, but who knows how often that's going to happen. That's their intent, to sell this thing at full price. I can't justify this knife at the price I paid for it, 112 bucks. I'm almost kind of feeling like a Civivi Elementum, which is not made in America, but it performs much better. Or if I really just want something that's S30V, maybe a Bugout that's on nav sale, or I could find something from We Knives. Could always look for something, or use Spyderco. There's also Kershaw. There's just so many options that I think are better than this. Now, when it comes to the weight, that's the big thing. The weight thing weighs 1.875 ounces. That's the reason that I was attracted to it. That's the reason why I separated myself from my money to get this thing. It's not worth it. I don't normally do knife reviews. I wanted this to be the review that I did because I thought this could be a Benchmade killer. This might be a Benchmade fluffer. Comment fluffer down below. If you comment that, I will heart your message. Lets me know that you made it to the end of this video. Make sure you like this video or send a one-time donation via the super thanks button down below. Either one of those are fine by me. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you for stopping by. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, thank you for once again watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.